Has life ever thrown you a curveball? I've heard stories from baseball players who were up to bat and they thought the ball was going to be a fast pitch that would hit them right in the face. So their first reaction was to duck down and fall to the dirt. They were now in the dirt only to hear strike and find out that it was actually a curveball. It curved right at the end, right over the plate for a strike. They did not see that coming. Life can be the same way. It throws curveballs at you. You may find yourself lying in the dirt and you can tell others may be confused by why you just ducked. Jesus' earliest followers, his 12 disciples, were thrown a huge curveball. They thought that Jesus was going to set up his kingdom and rule the world right then and there on earth. They'd been waiting on the Messiah, the one who would come and forgive their sins and set them free from a Roman government that had enslaved them. And then Jesus starts talking about his death, saying, I'm only going to be with you a little longer, and where I'm going, you can't come right now, but you will come and be with me later. And we read that story in John chapter 13, verses 31 through 38. Jesus can see that their hearts were troubled. They were like that baseball player lying in the dirt. They thought that they knew what was going to happen. They'd given up everything to follow Jesus, and now he's saying he's going to leave them? That was a huge curveball. Let's take a look at what Jesus says. When everything is ready, I will come and get you, so that you will always be with me where I am, and you know the way to where I am going. John 14, 3-4. Then Thomas, one of Jesus' disciples, jumps right in. No, we don't know, Lord. We have no idea where you're going, so how can we know the way? Jesus answered with some of his most powerful words. Jesus told him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one can come to the Father except through me. John 14:6. This is also very controversial in our world today, where cultures like to say whatever works for you in your spiritual life is all okay. You do your thing and you let everyone else do what they think is best. But we can't copy the customs of our world. Just like our verse we have been memorizing this month says. Don't copy the behaviors and the customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Then you will learn to know God's will for you, which is good and pleasing and perfect. Romans 12:2. We've been working each week on letting God transform our thoughts. And this week, Jesus is giving clarity here. He's letting the guys in the story and all of us know that we've missed it up until now. I'm the only way to get to God. I'm the only fulfillment of all of God's promises as you join your life with me. And I will give you life here and now in eternity. I'm the way to true life. We are all in good company at this moment. These guys walked with Jesus for 3 years. They walked with him and lived with him day in and day out. And still after 3 years, every day with Jesus, he has to tell them, if you'd really known me, guys, that should give us relief as we will all struggle at times to understand, to know and trust and live in faith, especially those moments when we're lying in the dirt because we're afraid of the curveball that we weren't expecting. In those moments, we're like Thomas asking God, where are you? Why did you almost let that ball hit me? Jesus says, I'm preparing a place for you, a place with my Father. I'm going to come and get you and we will be together forever. But we will have these moments where we don't know how to get back up. And Jesus gives us the way to get back. He's the way. I want you to remember this today. Jesus is the way. This is such amazing news. We have a way to be made right with God the Father with Jesus. Jesus is the way. The words of Jesus were so important that the early church was actually called the way. This is why our reading this week in the Life Transformation Bible says this: my greatest priority in my life today is knowing Jesus better. Why? Because Jesus is the way to the Father, the way to truth, the way to life. Now, Jesus came to give us a rich and satisfying life all of the time, regardless of our circumstances. We can live in truth and life that he came to give us as we follow him as the way. And we see in John 10:10 the promise that Jesus did come to give us a rich and satisfying life. He says, "The thief's purpose is to steal and kill and destroy. My purpose is to give a rich and satisfying life." John 10:10. Jesus is the way. Let's look at these behaviors to live a life like Jesus as we follow him. Number 1, believe in Jesus and do the work that he did. Remember, we just heard about the disciples saying, "We don't know where you're going." They were afraid. They didn't want Jesus to go. And now he gives them this: "I tell you the truth, anyone who believes in me will do the same works I have done, and even greater works, because I'm going to be with the Father." John 14:12. Are you kidding? There they are, laying in the dirt because of this curveball that he's thrown at them. And he quickly says, "Get up and get back in the batter's box. You are going to do things that I have done, the things that you saw me do." And for us, we do the things that we have seen him do in and through his word, the Bible. We are taking his message and his love into the whole world. Number 2, pray and ask for things according to his will. Sometimes we fall down. Sometimes we get knocked down in the dirt, or maybe we fall because of a curveball that really wasn't one at all. We're praying for or hoping for something different than his good, pleasing, and perfect will. And he loves us enough to let us fall in the dirt. You can ask for anything in my name and I will do it, so that the Son can bring glory to the Father. Yes, ask me for anything in my name and I will do it. John 14:13-14. Just like John says, we must ask in his name, not just saying the words, but according to his character and his will. The best way to know God and his will is through his word, the Bible. Remember, he's not going to grant our requests to fulfill sinful desires. He's not giving some magic formula. He is saying to pray and to ask for things according to God's character and God's will, to know God's heart. That's why I want to encourage you to join us on this journey through the Life Transformation Bible. This week, we are doing the reading, Who is Jesus? If you don't have it, you can ask your leader for a copy of it here in class, or you can find it online or on our resource wall in the main hallway. Number 3, you can follow Jesus' pattern of love. This was not the first time that Jesus talked about this, but now as he is nearing the end of his life on earth as a human, he gives emphasis to these words once again. "If you love me, obey my commandments." John 14:15. Jesus led the way by modeling for us how to have a servant's attitude, to serve out of love for God and others, an attitude of humility. I want to challenge you this week to continue practicing our memory verse and to read the daily Bible readings in our Life Transformation Bible reading plan. Life is going to throw you curveballs, and you're going to feel like his disciples asking, "God, where are you? What's going on? I don't get it. This knocked me down. What do I do?" Follow Jesus because he is the way. He is always there with you, ready to pick you up, ready to help you grow stronger with each curveball that you face. And he will help you get around those bases and get back to home plate.